Hello and welcome to my video blog for Sunday, May the 22nd. You know, tonight is the big finale of Celebrity Apprentice and we're all wondering who's going to be the new apprentice, Marlee Matlin. But until then, we do know who won't be running for president, and that's Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump always makes a big deal about people who quit. And this week, you could say he maybe quit when he decided that he's not going to be running for president. But that's not the spin that Donald put on it. No, the Donald says that even though he would have become the Republican nominee, even though he was leading in the polls, that he's going to move on and affect change and be the bigger person outside of the ring. Yeah. That's just fancy terminology for I'm quitting, I'm leaving now, please don't judge me. Yeah, that's his excuse. Now, Huckabee, he's also decided to buzz on to greener pastures and do other things, and that he's decided not to tie up the next 4 years of his life. Yeah, but we do know who is going to be running, and that's Newt Gingrich. He announced that he is running via Twitter, saving a few dollars doing it that way, and also posting a video up on my, on the YouTube there. And, that's a good to do. Saving a little bucks. Being very modern. Yeah, that Newt. He's also running into a bit of trouble. And that he said a few things this week that he's needed to backpedal. And that at one time he seems as though he was on the Republican side for this whole, Medicare thing that Paul Ryan is trying to put out there. And then on the other hand, he kind of seems as though he's not really for it. So Newt saying, I said it, I said I wasn't for it, but when I said it, that's not what I really meant, and he's sort of going back and forth with his words, doing a little ping pong. Now, some people were saying that Newt is basically retracting his comments and he's not being forthcoming. I just say that he's just being a politician. I mean, what do you want? What do you want, guys? Come on. It's early. So while Newt's doing all that ping-ponging back and forth, we were all a bit surprised and taken aback by the news that we received about, a couple of weeks ago, about Bin Laden. Yeah, he's gone. We went from this joyous wedding, and then we all came home and took our dresses off, and then we were sitting around and eating bonbons and watching the TV, and then all of a sudden it's like Bin Laden's gone, and we got the news brought to us, It was crazy. And while some people were up dancing in the street, other people thought, well, that's not quite right. We don't dance on the graves of people, even if they were, a mass murderer. So there was very perplexed as to what we should do. Should we celebrate? Should we not celebrate? Is it appropriate? Is it not appropriate? Should we see the pictures? Should we not see the pictures? I mean, it was all this big brouhaha going on, and it's still kind of going on. And then people are kind of wondering, at least it's in the place of what do you say to the kids? How do you explain all this to the children? It's kind of it's trying to explain where babies come from, It's like one of those conversations, because even though you may put together the best statement ever to really explain the whole birthing process and how, the sperm and the egg and the chicken and the whatever, how it all kind of happens, despite your best efforts, that the question that's going to stump you is, but why? Yeah, it's the but why that always gets you. Darn that, but why? And something else about why? The earth was supposed to explode and it was supposed to be Armageddon or something come yesterday. Yeah, according to this man, he was following a Minoan calendar and he did some fancy math. And he had kind of predicted that the earth was supposed to end, or we were supposed to at least have Armageddon, and there were supposed to be some bad things that were going to happen, all starting at 6 o'clock. Well, I don't know. Maybe the man doesn't watch the news, but there's always stuff happening all the time at 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock news. There you go. We really didn't need all the campaigning and the stomping and the signs that tell us to watch the news, guy. Come on. And plus, I'm really disappointed too because, you know, hey, I wore my clean underwear for nothing. So anyway, moving on. There's just so much that's been happening. And one of those things that's been happening is the fact that guys just can't seem to keep their penises where they need to be. Ooh, yeah. And we were all shocked and stunned and surprised when we found out that Arnold Schwarzenegger, of all people, has a child out of wedlock. Oh my goodness. Yes, and with the maid. Oh my goodness. And the woman was living in the house with him and Maria and the kids. Oh my goodness. It is too much to fathom. Now, even though we were all shocked and stunned when we heard this news, I'm all about the takeaways. Like, what can we really learn from this whole experience? And I think we learned a lot about Arnold Schwarzenegger. For one, we learned that he's an equal opportunity cheater. Yes. I mean, he went from a Kennedy to a housekeeper. I mean, there's a whole lot of diversity there. Yeah, equal opportunity cheater. And then plus we also learned that he's a thinker. Yeah, Arnold was thinking ahead because he was thinking, look, I'm cheating with the housekeeper. My wife's here. I've got 4 kids. I want to become governor. Eventually, I'm going to have to pick up this movie career thing, you know. So his time is very limited. So what did he do? He kept the housekeeper with him. And the housekeeper also went on vacations with them. Yeah, the housekeeper was basically almost like a part of the family. So that meant that he didn't go very far to keep his mistress intact. Crazy. But it also shows that he was good in terms of prioritizing his time. Because he don't have time to be driving all over town. Yeah, so he followed that old adage. Keep your friends close, but keep your mistresses even closer. Yeah, there you go. And while this is all going on, we're also having to deal with this whole situation with who? Strauss-Kahn, who went after the maid. Yeah, what's going on? Went after the maid. I mean, this whole thing with all these big political men or men of status going after the help is ridiculous. You know, it's the help. You know, they don't need to like dust off your private parts. No, that's not what their job entails. Not at all. And while we're all thinking about it, you know, this whole thing about sex has really got me thinking about television. Because I'm always thinking about television. Yeah, it's got me thinking about television because while everybody's all up in arms and going after MTV about their show, what, The Skins, and going after their show about, what, 16 and Pregnant, yeah, going after those shows, what they really should be doing is concentrating on these old men. Old men with their Willy problems. Yeah, what we really need a show about is a show that teaches men to control their willies and not to free them. Because you can't always teach a new Willy new tricks. Nor do we want to see the Willy do old tricks. The Willy needs to be captured and contained and held captive where it needs to be at all times. That's the show we need. That's what we need on television. That's what we need to happen. I'll see you next time.